G'day. I've been renovating this house room by room, and now I'm up to the bathroom, which is probably the coolest space in it. I mean, check out how awesome these tiles are. But some things could do with an update, and that vanity needs to go. To buy a new one is crazy expensive, and they kinda all just look the same. So I'm gonna build my own one for as cheap as I can possibly make it. The challenge will be to design something modern which doesn't clash with the retro bathroom, so I figured a floating top anchored by a cabinet would be clean and simple. I'll cover it in tiles to tie back in with the floor and pop the basin on top as a focal point, an object. I'm going to keep the left side open intentionally so we can see more tiles and reduce bulk. But you know, in future it could also be a great place to chuck a dog or a baby or barrels of fermented cabbage. I'm looking at you, Alexa. Now that I've got a plan, let's see if I can actually build this thing. Starting with this shaving cabinet, which I hoped I could just pull out and replace, but once I removed the shelves I started to get an asbestos kind of vibe.
It's definitely a fibre cement board.
So I got it tested. And yeah, it's our friend asbestos. I mean, who would have thought? What a weird place to have asbestos. So I'm just going to tidy the edge and leave that one for now and get on with the vanity. So, welcome to the new workshop. To keep this project cheap, I'm using what I have, like this plywood table for the vanity top. And for everything else, I'm going to look on Facebook Marketplace. There's heaps of good deals if you're looking, like these tiles. Here I'm laying out full tiles to figure out the final dimensions. Now I can subtract the thickness of the adhesive and fibre cement and multiply that by the relative humidity, which is then divided by the mean time I've installed to give me the final size on my plywood box, 12. Now I'm using fibre cement as a substrate for the tiles because the adhesive will bond better and it won't rot if any moisture gets through. But I will say fibre cement sucks. It's fun to score and snap, sure, but the fibres go everywhere and they're super itchy. And also, learn from my mistake. If you're going to use screws, drill a pilot hole first so the screw doesn't lift the sheet up. Or just use flathead nails like literally everyone else. Since it's a bathroom, I painted the underside to help protect it from moisture. You know, in my other life as an architect, I've annoyed heaps of tilers by insisting they miter the corner edge. So I figured it only seems fair I give it a go myself. After a bit of trial and error, I found the easiest way was just to grind it down while eyeing it off against a 45-degree cut. Once I got to the glazed edge, it was done, and it worked really well. You know, the key detail is going to be this corner, which you'll see when you walk in. It's a bit trickier with 3 tiles needing miters on 2 sides, but the method was sound and in the end it came out way better than I expected. Now I just have to cut 60 more. Here goes nothing. If this goes wrong, the whole vanity could look pretty off. And since these are handmade tiles, which aren't quite square, I'm just going to have to take my time and adjust by eye as I go along.
Number 1.
You know, for the most part, this turned out pretty good. Some of the joints ended up a bit uneven, which really messed with my OCD. But looking at the top as an object, you can't really see it, so let's move on. You know, a month or 2 after I built this, I did my kitchen splashback and experienced the real way to do grout. This premix bottle is not the way to do it, and I'd say it's my biggest mistake. It was expensive, it firmed up really quickly, and was a real pain to clean off. Oh well, learn from your mistakes. I went back and forth on this for a while. Do I use the premium grade veneer plywood, which I got for free, and just hide all the fixings, or do I buy new plywood and screw bog and paint? Well, it's hot, and I can't find my dowelling, so I'm just going to go with new plywood. You know what they say, you gotta spend money, make money, right? It's a small change, but it makes a big difference. And you know now, after the fact, I can say that this was totally an intentional design decision, since that veneer would have contrasted the bench top and the rest of the bathroom. It just would have looked super odd. It also just so happens that I had some trim paint left over from my bedroom, which was just the right shade of blue to complement the tiles. That's pretty lucky, right? I mean, that was an intended design decision. Which just goes to show how important it is to stay flexible when you're designing or making. Do you think the architect of the Sydney Opera House, Johan Utzon, just designed it with his genius? Nah. He just dropped a bowl of sliced oranges. Alright, where was I? Oh yeah. I'm adding these adjustable feet I got from IKEA, so the cabinet will stay level on the sloped floor. For the door, I'm installing your standard run-of-the-mill full overlay cabinet hinge. Now I've never done one of these before, and I only learned after I did this that you can buy the drill template. I mean, that would have been nice, but I managed just fine with that. The door did slam though, so I ended up getting the soft close mechanism, and that fixed it just right. And I can hear what you're saying. Hey Miss Marosi, why don't you just buy a soft close hinge? Good question. So it turns out the slope on the bathroom floor was bigger than I thought. So I had to get some longer feet to lift the front level. Now the previous vanity sat on this tile ledge. So I figured I'd do the same with mine by adding a strip of ply on both sides. The question is whether that's enough to support it on one end. Let's find out. This thing is as solid as a rock, but we did end up chipping a couple of tiles in the process. I can live with that. Now I know I said for as cheap as possible, since you know my budget is tight. But this basin I got free from work was just too white. This little pink basin is nice, but a little light. The basin needs to be a visual delight. Like this one. The colour, the size, it's just right. Okay, I'll stop rhyming now, but this was an awesome find on Marketplace. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay. Just a few more steps and it should start to look like a vanity. I centered the basin on the top and drilled a hole for the waste, which just magically lined up with a pipe underneath. I'm installing a standing mixer tap centered on a tile joint. This was another Marketplace bargain, although I did have to buy a specialty hole saw to cut the tile. It was worth it. It came out super clean. Alright, plumbing time. But I'm a maker, and you don't exactly make plumbing. So let's see how this goes. I reckon that could have gone a lot worse.
Plumbing, man. Jesus.
The hard part is done, and the end is in sight. All I really have to do now is silicone the basin and just fit everything off. Oh yeah, and also cover up that asbestos with a new shaving cabinet. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It fits the style of the bathroom perfectly, while also feeling modern and cool. And when I add up all the costs, it came to a total of $400, which is amazing, and just proves being savvy with your choices can go a long way. Now for the exciting part, what you've all been waiting for. Let me show you how it works. Here, I'm brushing my teeth. And here, I'm washing my hands after taking a shit. What? It is a bathroom sink. Thanks for watching.